I am here with Olga Anderson, who is running for the position of trustee in the Village of Highland Falls election. Olga, will you take a moment and just introduce yourself and tell me why you're running?
Oh boy. Well, you know, what I would really like people to know is really where I come from, because it explains why I'm here doing this today. I am actually an immigrant. My parents were taken by the Germans from their homeland in Ukraine. They worked in labor camps. I was born in a refugee camp in Germany. And our family was sponsored by some settlers here in upstate New York, Ukrainian settlers from earlier on, and they took us into their homes. And they gave us the opportunity to have a life in America. And I will forever be grateful for that opportunity. And it really means a lot to me to have had the chance to grow up in this country and benefit from everything that this country has to offer. And I'm just really delighted now that I've retired and have raised my own family that I'm able to give back. So essentially, that's why I'm here, is I have a chance and I want to take that opportunity to give back.
And you have been giving back in volunteer manners. And so this is the first time that you've run for public office?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me about some of the volunteer projects that you work with.
Well, it all begins because I'm a gardener. And my parents were Ukrainian peasants. They grew all their own food. I visited their homesteads in Ukraine. And they always, the Ukrainians grow all their own food when they live in the villages. So it's kind of really in my DNA. My parents always had a garden at home, and I've always had a garden wherever, no matter where I've lived. I had a loft in Soho, I had a garden on the roof. So, you know, my passion for gardening is really about my passion for the earth. And so all of the other work that I've done in the environmental realm is all stems from my love of gardening.
And some of those things include?
Well, the community garden at Holy Innocents is really a very special place. We've got, at this point, a number of new gardeners that are coming in, taking plots and, you know, really beginning to develop their passion for gardening. So that's a favorite project of mine. And I'm the chair of the Town of Highlands and Citizens Environmental Advisory Committee, where we try very hard to bring programming that is available at a state level down to the local level. So we want to be able to take advantage of some wonderful programs that can benefit us locally by energy savings and cost savings that come along with that.
And so some of those things lead me to my next question, which is about what do you perceive as the challenges facing our village or our community as a whole? Some of those environmental issues?
Environmentally, of course, the one thing that I have heard the most about is water. So I would say that it's an environmental challenge. It's also probably an infrastructure challenge. We really need to take really a very studied look at what are the water issues and where are they coming from. I actually propose that we start, if we get elected, start our administration by holding what I'm calling a water summit. Let's bring all the right people to the table and take a look at what really are these issues and where are they coming from. Because frankly, the fact that a fire hydrant is getting flushed really, to me, doesn't indicate that somebody should have dirty water for a week. That just doesn't compute to me. I've lived in a lot of different places all over the Northeast, and I've never had to deal with that. I'm sure they flush their hydrants as well. So there might be some underlying issues that we just haven't identified, and I think we really need to take a look, because it's not fair to the residents to have to deal with brown water for more than any time at all. So, I really feel there has to be some other issues there. So water, that's an environmental and an infrastructure issue. I think being as we're kind of in the highlands, we're kind of protected from any kind of, real flooding problems. And we face all the other issues that any community faces with regard to a changing climate.
Okay, any other non-environmental challenges you think need addressed immediately?
Oh, well, of course, our lack of developable land, of course, is an issue. Our inability to raise more property taxes from commercial developments. Those are important problems that we really need to address. You can't squeeze blood out of a stone. You can't keep dipping into people's pockets, continuously. We have to find other ways to make the most of what we have.
Which kind of leads into my next question, which is about consolidation. There are many who say consolidation would save us money. And I know you're not an elected official and haven't necessarily studied consolidation, but just off the top of your head, what are your feelings on consolidation within our community?
Well, to be honest, I had the privilege of sitting in on a meeting last Saturday when they were discussing the budget. And there are some equipment purchases that are planned. I would like to know if we've sat down and talked to the town about those same exact equipment needs. Have we done that first before we've gone and created some hundreds of thousands of dollars line items in the budget? So yes, I think that we really need to work with the town to identify places where we can share equipment, share other resources before we expend any more dollars.
So if not necessarily consolidating levels of government, sharing services within those levels
Is a great place to start.
Certainly, certainly. I ask everyone, if you were elected today and tomorrow's your first day in office, what would you do first? What needs done right away?
I think what needs done is to create more openness. I would look at, number one, having the village board meetings in an accessible space. Right now, you have to climb stairs. That really is a deterrent for some people to participate. I think we need to look really hard at how we can overcome that problem. And really to create an open environment where people are welcome to come and talk to us. And that could look like a lot of things. It could look like having more opportunities during board meetings to talk. It could look like having dedicated, separate events, like really a literal town hall. This is the backbone of this country, of how we got started. Town halls are essential to local government, I think. So I'd like to look at ways that we can create opportunities for the residents here to engage more openly with the board. That would be something that we could all benefit from.
And if you were to bring some new program to the community or a new way of doing something, what might that be?
Well, first of all, we're looking in this space at creating a community center. I mean, I think that is a perfect opportunity to create new programming. If we get inputs from the public about what the needs are, we can then develop programs to meet those needs, social, physical, emotional, all kinds of ways. This could turn into a cultural space. We have a little stage here. We could have concerts. This could be a wonderful focal point for the community, and I'd like to see that happen.
For those watching, we're sitting in the current senior center in Highland Falls, which is home to very few programs right now, but many more, Olga says. Olga, talk to me about the current administration. Tell me something good something you think that they have done, something you credit them with?
Well, of course, I mean, the fact that they've dedicated themselves to serving the community, that is to be applauded. You know, there's a lot of people that complain about things, very few people that do things. So I think anybody who steps up and does the work, and it's hard work, because you know, people aren't going to say thank you for everything you do. You will get criticism, you'll get all kinds of pushback on things, and it's a terribly difficult job, trying to satisfy all the needs, stay within a budget. So yeah, I really applaud all the current administration for all their work, for sure.
Thank you. And last but not least, talk to me about your running mates.
Oh, well, we're a great team. We have Dr. Melanie, who is a Republican. We have Joe, who's an independent, and we have Olga, who's a Democrat. So we are diverse. You know, do you remember that old show, The Mod Squad? Their little saying was one black, one white, one blonde. Well, I haven't figured out what our version of that is, but I think we have, you know, we kind of fit this diverse mold. And I think we will bring that diversity and all those different perspectives to our work on the board.
How did you choose each other to run with?
I had been talking to Melanie, just really meeting occasionally on a friendly basis, just talking about things. And it just sort of, naturally it comes up, well, what are you going to do about these ideas that you have? We were convinced that running for the board would be one of the ways that we could put our ideas to work. And then Joe showed up, and we all, with the three of us, got together and we talked about our vision, and we felt that we had a good chemistry, and so we decided to do it all together.
And the word momentum came into play because?
It just wasn't, it just came up in our conversations, you know, that we wanted to go in a certain direction. We wanted to have a movement that was going upwards, and momentum fills that bill.
Great. Thank you very much, Olga. We have 2 minutes left. Is there anything else you would like to say?
Well, I think that with the input that we hopefully would get from the community, and I really love when we walk around and knock on doors and introduce ourselves to people, when people tell us what their wants and needs are. Really, it's really good for us to engage in those kinds of conversations. And I think the strength of this community is in these folks who live here. They're, you know, they love this village, and they're committed to its success. And I think if we work together, we can create a very powerful movement to bring life back into empty storefronts and vitality back to the village. And I really welcome that opportunity.